Hello. With this presentation, we like to show how the application form should be filled in and what are the key issues to be considered in each part of the application form. Once you have logged in to Promos system and open the application form, you will find out the basic information sheet. Here you give the name and acronym to your project and give other necessary basic information. Note that the name of the project should be informative and short enough. In Priority drop-down box, you will choose one of the three alternative priorities. After selection, you will find automatically the right thematic objective which is related to chosen priority. When thinking duration of the project, keep in mind that even in most optimistic scenarios, the first project can start late next fall. Therefore, 40 months is practically the maximum duration. Note that duration of the project can be changed during negotiation phase before contracting. All the partners will be added on this sheet. Requested financing information will be automatically filled in when budget sheet is completed later on. On partner information sheet, you can give more exact information per each partner. Here below, you will find motivation, operational capacity, and financial capacity sections to be filled in. When talking about motivation, applicant should describe which of the planned activities this partner is responsible for. Describe also the actions where this partner has a supportive and/or consulting role. Why does the organization want to work in CBC context with these partners and in this particular project? How the outputs produced by this project benefit the partner organization. When it comes to operational capacity, applicant should present what kind of project substance related knowledge and expertise it has in its organization. Short description of relevant experience and organization's role in the project. And in case of partners from outside the program's core area, why this particular partner is necessary for the project. Other public financing should be announced here only projects which are similar with this current application. Next sheet is summary section. And the things which should be announced here are shortly described here below, here above. And you have maximum length 12,000 characters to present the following things. First, the core problem which the project has found important and intends to solve. Description of the process, where the problem has been found and identified. Then objective of the project. Applicant should name one specific objective which is formulated as a desired situation at the end of a project. Development projects will name clearly which is the element this project is connected. The expected change, how the situation is going to be changed due to implementation of this project. Target groups and beneficiaries. which are the groups to be affected directly by the project. These are target groups. And which are the beneficiaries in the long term, in the level of society or sector at large. Those are final beneficiaries. Then the outputs. Present the intended outputs necessary to achieve specific objective of this project. Short description and justification why it is seen necessary as an output. In capitalization projects, the payments are based on the fulfillment of the outputs and indicators. Therefore, the definition of the outputs should be special attention to already in this phase. Then the activities describe shortly activities to be implemented in order to produce intended outputs of this project. Justify why these activities are necessary and sufficient to deliver the outputs. Finally, cross-border operation. In what way this project can be implemented better with cross-border cooperation than without it. Then relevance sheet. First, you can find here problem analysis, where you should describe the problem that will be solved by the project and how it has been identified. Present here cause and effect relationships. If you have made problem tree rehearsal, you can describe the outcome of that process here. The proposal has to be clearly connected also to one of the elements of the priority described in the guidelines. The chosen element is written here. In the capitalization projects, the element shall be the same as in the original project. In case of capitalization project, the original project or projects should be clearly named in this section. Overall objective of the project will be picked from the drop-down, and then you can move to specific objective of the project box. The core problem above has been converted to the one specific objective, so the problem is connected to specific objective. Objective had to be realistic, and it should be achieved with planned activities and outputs. It can also be seen as a development outcome at the end of the project. It is defined by the project, but it has to contribute to one of the elements defined by the program. Once again, there is a box for the cross-border cooperation, why it is needed. And then there is a box for cross-cutting issues. Cross-cutting issues in our program are the people-to-people actions, education, research and innovations, environmental sustainability and equality. Then indicators. Depending on which are the priorities selected, you will find 2 or 3 thematic indicators here. However, you can leave the target values as a 0 at this point, and these will be filled in negotiation phase with guidance of your operating coordinator. However, the project-specific indicators should be filled in and named. You can easily add as many indicators as needed. Work plan. You can easily add an activity by clicking this plus symbol here, and every work package should be named and add by using this Add Activity window. You will name the activity, for example, work package 1, and then description, which can be divided. For example, work package 1.1, design, work package 1.2, tender, and so on. Status of the activity is naturally to do. At this point, estimated start date is some months, probably and most likely during year 2023. Then each work package are divided to 4 roles of partners. So each partner has a certain role in each work package. And we are using RACI system, where the partner roles are divided as follows. And few words about this RACI system, which are those responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So responsible partners are those who do the work to achieve the task. There is at least one role with a participation type of responsible, although others can be delegated to assist in the work required. Accountable, to one ultimately answerable for the correct and thorough completion of the deliverable or task, and the one who delegates the work to those responsible. Consulted partners are those whose opinions are sought, typically subject matter experts, and with whom there is two-way communication. Informed partners are those who are kept up to date on progress, often only on completion of the task or deliverable, and with whom there is just one-way communication. Location of each work package is selected, and you can choose more than one location per each work package, and name the output which is related to this work package. Then save, and you can add next work package. Note that there is 2 questions related to impact below this work package and work plan info. There you should answer how main outputs are utilized after the project and how sustainability is planned to maintain financially and operationally after the project. The next sheet is about the implementation. First, you should describe the proposed team and the administration structure of the project. If possible, we like you to present the possible work positions already in this phase. For example, are there any leading partner in another country than lead partner, and other administration structure if already known in application phase. Then there are these other questions which all should be answered too. Then there is the budget, and in budget opens like here, and budget is to be filled in a whole project level using total sums for each cost types. The specified cost will be presented in attached budget as an Excel sheet, which is an obligatory annex of this application. This saved information will update requested financing details in basic information sheet. Note that if you are applying capitalization project, leave the administrative costs as a 0. Also, all applicants leave the amount of investments here below empty. It is not used in this call. Finally, check that information you have given here equals to the attached detailed budget. Once every information is filled in, save the budget and move to annexes. There are 4 obligatory annexes. First, the detailed budget as an Excel format. There you present detailed how are you going to spend the money during the project implementation period. Then you present the project logic in log frame matrix sheet. Note that this log frame matrix is to be filled in before you are going to fill in this application form, because you can use that as a help to understand and develop your project logic. Then there's a partnership statement, which is not needed from the lead partner. And finally, communication plan. You can find templates for these annexes from our website www.canadiacbc.info. These annexes are attached only in Promas system electronically, and any other annexes won't be taken into account as in evaluation. Finally, there are signature sheet, and once you have find the right person in your organization valid to send this kind of applications, and before you press the submit button here, please check the application once more, and you can use as a help the checklist which is in guidelines document. This application is submitted via this Promas system, and this submitted version is afterwards printed and signed and sent to the managing authority in Oulu or branch office in Petrozavodsk. And only this application form without annexes is sent as a hard copy to MA or branch office. And finally, I remind you about the deadlines. The deadline for the submission of the electronic version of the application is 17th of March this year at 3 p.m. at Finnish time. The signed versions needs to reach the managing authority or the branch office on 24th of March this year at latest. And any application submitted after the deadline and or reaching the managing authority after the deadline will automatically be rejected. If you had any questions related to application, how to fill in any questions, don't hesitate to ask further information from managing authority. Wish good luck. Thank you.